All right, man.
Uh,
This. I'm sure Chad will be a little toxic, but we'll make it quick. We'll get in and out.
that's fine, man. Oh, yeah.
It'll be rough. It'll be rough without a doubt. We are. Well, we're live now.
It's okay. I mean, I understand people upset. They
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It took them a while to wake up or something, man. I mean, there at the end, they were playing great football.
Yeah, they were. I thought that fourth quarter was fine.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Welcome. Let's play this. We gotta give our sponsor a shot here. Let's get the right sponsor up. There we go. Garage Doors. We'll play this ad really quick, and then Otis, Kirk, and I will be back with our response.
At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right. 3, 2, 1, yo. All right, Hog fans, welcome back. Let's try to keep the toxicity at a minimum in live chat if you guys could. Please. I know this is a tough one to swallow. Otis and I are going to try and I don't know, digest this thing. Do me a favor, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Go to hogville.net for all the free content. Otis, Kirk, and Dudley Dawson, Kevin McPherson have you covered on all fronts. So yeah. All right. Otis, I don't know, man. What'd you think?
I thought it took them too long to get started today. It was like the battery was dead for about 3 quarters, and then they got a jump start there with some jumper cables or something there in the fourth quarter, and it changed. I mean, but they were just, I don't know, man. 3 quarters they were lifeless. Ty, I mean, particularly on defense. I mean, on offense. I'm sorry, not defense. Offense. I mean, KJ was out of sync. I mean, Rocket never did get it going, really. It's just hard to say. I mean, it was like they sleptwalked for about 3 quarters, and then they woke up in the fourth. And, and look, I thought he probably got in there on that 2-point, but I see the knee was close. I mean, it was close. It wasn't a great view of it, but I would have preferred to see them roll him out there and give him an option of running or throwing, or roll him out, not up the middle. I know they just scored on a 2-point play before that, running up the middle. I get that.
Which was a great call, by the way.
Yeah, it was. But
I love that play.
Well, you can say live by KJ and die by KJ, but without KJ, this team would be about 1-7 right now. So I'm 1-8 or whatever, 1-8. This is not on KJ. I mean, the offensive line couldn't block anybody for about 3 quarters. So I mean,
that was bad.
Yeah, that's the worst I've seen this Arkansas offensive line play in a long time. KJ was out of sync. The first interception was not on him. The second one was. Mm-hmm. The first one was just like the first 2 interceptions he threw this season bounced off Trey Knox's hands into the defensive back's hands. The last one was on him, but I can't. I'm not going to put this on KJ. I mean, the kid fought his butt off. He's banged up. He's sick, hurt. Hurt. I don't know about being sick, but just it wasn't. And I can't put it on one unit even, not even the offensive line. I mean, it was like they just. I mean, you and I talked about in the press box in the first half there, Ty, where Rocket. It looked like before he got hit, he was like preparing to get hit instead of just running through the tackle, and maybe I imagined that. It looked like it to me. He was kind of preparing, but the offensive line did not play well, and they finally protected their, at the end, but a little bit too little, too late. I mean, that's what happens when you get down 16 and have to have 2 2-point conversions. That's what happens. You make one, then you can't make the other one. It was so predictable. I mean, I was thinking that whole last drive, it's going to be 21-19, but I would love to have seen them roll KJ out there and give him the option of throwing or running, but not up the middle. I just felt like they went the well one time too often there. But
yeah, I kind of thought that was. I mean, I get that they had a little bit of success there before, in that previous 2-point conversion with the North-South game. A little bit of trickeration there, though.
Yeah,
KJ going right up the gut there just didn't. I don't know. I like the first 2-point conversion a hell of a lot better than I did the second, without a doubt.
AJ was running at him. AJ had run, and they had moved the defensive line out of the way for 2 AJ Green runs. So maybe they were thinking they were the defensive line for Liberty was tired and felt like they could get a push there, and they almost did. I mean, it was close. I mean, KJ didn't extend the ball, but I mean, when the play ended, the ball's laying in the end zone with KJ. So I don't know, man. The announcers were probably right there at the end. If they'd have called that the good on the 2-point conversion, they wouldn't have overturned it. Whatever the call
that's
was,
right.
was going to stand. I mean, because there wasn't really true evidence. It wasn't true evidence that he scored or didn't score. And whatever the call was on the field is probably what they were going to go with. I don't think they'd overturned it either way.
Hey guys, make sure you again go to Hogville. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Go to hogville.net too. Go there. If you don't have an account, create an account. Be a part of the message board over there. You can read all the articles. And don't forget, after this show, I will be live on Tuss Talk with Ty, where I'm going to take your call-ins on that show. So I'm looking forward to what some of you have to say. Yeah,
good luck, man.
We did it last weekend, and it was I was really surprised at how well it went. Obviously, easier when you're coming off a dub, a little harder when you're coming off an L. So, but make sure you guys stick around for that. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to this channel, also Hogville Net, and a shout out to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead. They offer same-day services, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Give them a call today, 501-244-3667. What was really, like you said, it's hard to put it on any one unit. I think the offensive line clearly, they look shell-shocked to me for the first 2.5 quarters. But what surprised you more, AJ Green kind of getting the ball, getting things rolling? Was that a little bit surprising to you over Rocket?
Well, a little bit, but you got to understand, I'm a big AJ Green fan. When they signed him, I thought he was the best running back in the class. But now understand, when they signed him, Rocket Sanders was going to be a receiver. Rocket wasn't even a running back when they signed him. And I thought AJ was going to have a great future at Arkansas. Still think he will. But, Rocket just never got started for some reason. I mean, he had a run here or there, but for the most part, you and I talked about it in the first half there in the press box. It was like they were stuffing Rocket, and then all of a sudden AJ comes in, and is it AJ? Is it Rocket, or is the offensive line blocking better for AJ just all of a sudden?
Sanders ended up with 17 carries, 60 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. AJ Green has 6 carries for 56 yards. That's 9.3 yards per carry.
People forget AJ Green was the number 1 player in Oklahoma his senior year. I mean, this kid was a stud, had offers to OU in a lot of places. I love AJ Green. I know there's a lot of talk about Quincy McAdoo on the message there, and I'm going to tell you what, 3 tackles, an interception, a pass breakup, and a block punt. How's that for a debut for a wide receiver, true freshman wide receiver playing cornerback for the first time ever in college? Now, I will say this. People know I go out and watch recruits and stuff, and I saw Quincy play in high school, and I thought he was a great receiver, but I thought he was just as good at defense as he was on offense. I'm going to tell you, if I'm Quincy McAdoo, I know he wants to go back to receiver next year, but I take a long look at that, because I'm telling you, man, if you're a cover corner, you can make a lot of bucks. Receivers in the NFL, unless you're elite, are a dime a dozen. Yeah. You get, Cooper Kupp or something, that's one thing, but there's a dime a dozen and cover cornerbacks who can make plays and are playmakers. I'm telling you, if I'm Quincy, And I thought he was just as good on defense in high school as he was offense, Ty. He had to go both ways, so it was a little unfair to him. I mean, it happens to a high school kid, but I'm just saying you couldn't judge him completely because he never came off the field. But I'm not surprised at his success on defense at all. He was just as good on there as he was at receiver, and he was a legit 4-star to me on either side of the ball. But I take a long look if I'm him at staying at corner. Of course, this is one game. There's 3 more to go in the regular season. We'll see how it plays out with him. I mean, but he really had a great debut.
Well, let's talk about this overall loss, though. I mean, the coaching staff, Otis. I don't know where else to look but to say the staff has to take this one. This feels like it's on the staff to some degree, right? I know the players didn't execute on the field. I get that, but it didn't look to me like they were prepared at all. Didn't look ready.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, if we're going to praise the coaching staff when they win and talk about what a great job they did, it's fair to say that. One thing we got to keep in mind, Liberty was coming off a bye week, and people don't think that makes a difference. They're silly. It makes a big difference. But I tell you what, it goes back to I think it's fair to say they weren't prepared like maybe they should have been, particularly on offense. I thought there were some weird calls at times. But when your quarterback and your offensive line, your receivers, your running backs not executing, no matter what you call, it's probably not going to be a great call. You know what I mean, Ty?
Yeah.
When your players are not executing, no matter what you call, it's probably not going to work. But with that said, I wish I could. I guess sure, you can put some of that on the coaches. But what I'd like to know is just why it took them 3 quarters to get started. I mean, to finally wake up. They had to know they were in a ball game. I mean, Liberty came out and was up 21-0. So it didn't take them that long. When they got up 14-0, they had, 7-0, 14-0, and dominating the line of scrimmage early on. You knew Liberty was legit, so it couldn't have took them that long to say, "Hey, we're in a game."
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why it took them so long to finally wake up. Did maybe Liberty get tired there at the end? Is that why Arkansas had some success? I mean, I don't know. I don't know Liberty well enough to say that. Unfortunately, we don't have Dudley to talk to Hugh today. But regardless of that, it's fair to put some of it on. I think it's fair to put something on everybody today. I mean, I don't want to single out one player and say, hey, it's his fault, because that's not fair. And I'm not going to put it on one coach, but I do think as a whole, I thought it was on everybody.
It is fair to say a way to just completely to deal with this offense is to just take the run game completely out. Just take it out, because that's how this thing happened. This is how it started when they went up 14-0. Otis, Arkansas had negative yardage on offense in the run
I couldn't believe Liberty. I looked at you and asked you, I said, Ty, are they just whipping their butts at the line of scrimmage? I mean, is Liberty? I said, well, I think what I said, they were, but what I said, I said, is Liberty really that good to dominate this offense? Because we haven't seen Alabama didn't dominate that offensive line like that, Ty. No, no school did.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Arkansas shot itself in the foot when they lost the A&M game. They moved the ball against Mississippi State with, they didn't. I haven't seen a team all year completely dominate this offensive line like Liberty did today, and it's just it's a mystery to me. I don't know. I wish I had the answers. I don't. I got completely blindsided by that. That you asked me what was the biggest surprise. I mean, that to me was the biggest surprise, just how much they got dominated at the line of scrimmage on offense for 3 quarters. I would have not. If you'd have told me Liberty was going to win 21-19, I wouldn't have argued with you. I'm not surprised. I thought Arkansas would win. I thought the 14.5 points were ludicrous. I never thought Arkansas would beat them that bad. But if I'd have been a gambler, I'd have took Liberty in 14.5. But I thought Arkansas would win, so I'm not going to sit here and backtrack on that. But I never thought if you'd have told me they were going to dominate and kick the offensive line's butt for 3 quarters, I would have laughed at you. I'd have said, no way.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to eat some crow. I really thought Arkansas was gonna handle this. I really did. I looked at the numbers. I watched plenty of film. I watched plenty of videos. They struggled against some really bad teams.
Yeah, they did.
and I know Arkansas has too. They lost to A&M for crying out loud, the worst team in the SEC, but they were certainly playing better and trending in a better direction, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I felt like, well, Arkansas should be able to take care of this. I would have taken Arkansas at the 13.5 or 14, whatever it was. I felt like they would cover that.
Open week scared me on that, Ty. The open week is what scared me on that, because that's sure, boy, that allows you 2 weeks to get healthy. I thought Arkansas maybe played its best game of the season against Auburn last week. If they didn't, they played against BYU the week before. But I thought they cut out some. I thought they played their best, and that was coming off of a bye week. So that bye week really scared me. I mean, I thought, man, that's dangerous, and still got Arkansas had the bye week, but you still got Bumper Pool, you got Jaden Hazelwood, you've got KJ. Right. You got some guys that are beat up regardless of the bye week helped, but it didn't cure all.
Oh, it doesn't solve. Yeah, people seem to think that having a bye week is your cure all, and it's not. Arkansas it's beyond a single bye week. You need like a couple of bye weeks and then maybe a little more. They're not healthy, but like I said on Twitter, this was not about, with how talking about in regards to the secondary. It wasn't just injuries why this team was so why they've struggled in the secondary. That's not why. It wasn't just injuries. Injuries compounded the issue, sure, but it's beyond that. They just don't have talent back there.
Here's something you and I talked about, and it's legit. Here's a question I got to ask, and people that's watching this can deal with it. They rush 3 people, they drop an 8, and people are still wide open. How do you drop 8 into the secondary? And they say they can't put 4 on the line of scrimmage and blitz because they don't have the defensive backs to go 1-on-1 to cover man press. Well, if you can't cover dropping 8 and giving the quarterback all day to throw, why not just blitz? A few times they blitzed, they got to the quarterback. You can rush the quarterback, because if you're dropping 8 and they're still wide open, Ty. I mean, dropping 8. I mean, we looked at each other and said, how did he get that open it was like a 30. I don't remember the play, but I remember the play. I don't remember the yardage.
Right.
But I think it was 3rd down, if I'm not mistaken, and he threw it over there about the 45 of Arkansas.
Wide open.
The guy is wide open, and it's like, and they rushed 3 people. It's like you're dropping 8, and they're sending the most they can possibly send out are 5, and you're dropping 8, and the most they can send out is that right? Yeah, it's 5. So I mean, how can you not be at least in the picture? I mean, that's why I said to you when Quincy broke up that pass, I said at least he was in the view when he broke up the pass. A lot of times they would catch a pass and you couldn't even see the defensive back for a minute. And I just don't understand how you can drop 8. There's the most they can send out is 8, because you got 5 O linemen and a quarterback. So how can 8 people not cover 5 and allow them to be just wide open? I don't get it. I mean, I'm not
sure this is Chavis level bad in the secondary. It is that level bad. I asked Dudley earlier this year if this was the worst secondary he had seen, and he said no. And I think he responded, and this was several weeks ago, right? We were still trying to figure out what was going on. Catalan and Slusher had just been ruled out. But he said no, because I think, if I remember right, he said that the Chavis years might have been worse. I'll have to follow up on that with him.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They ended up, every time they pressured, it seemed like there was a very good shot they were going to make a play in the backfield. Whether it was, no, they only ended up, according to the stats, they only ended up with 2 quarterback hurries, but they did have 9 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. So the percentage was pretty high that they were going to make plays in the backfield, at least. Tackling the running back in the backfield. And I thought overall the run defense was okay. Was it great? No, but it was pretty good. But it felt to me like when they brought pressure, they may not have had a whole bunch of hurries, but you could tell the quarterback kind of panicked a little bit. And I'm honestly surprised he didn't throw more picks, because he looked to panic a little bit, but then he would find someone open, and because the secondary is so bad, there's someone wide open right there. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for this team.
I thought Arkansas would
get brought more.
Yeah, I thought Arkansas would get some picks, and they got the Quincy one, but I thought they would get more, because this kid has had a tendency to throw some interceptions. He just Yeah, I don't know. I'm an aggressive coach. I mean, I believe in aggressiveness. I can't stand the rush 3, drop 8, and be passive. And we can say they don't have the defensive backs to cover them. Well, they even when you're dropping 8, they're still getting wide open. So why not? Like you said, you put pressure on them. The few times they did, they had success at it, Ty. And if they hit a long, oh, I know what I was going to say earlier. There was a year Jack Crow had a team with Joe Pate was the defensive coordinator, and that was the absolute worst secondary I've ever had. I think it was the last year Arkansas was in the Southwest Conference. It was absolutely god-awful. I mean, it was terrible, man. I mean, that was their last year in the Southwest Conference, and teams just ran all over. I mean, threw all over them. So that, to me, was the worst secondary, and that's going back a long ways. But this one is pretty bad. What
do you say to fans? Because, I mean, here's what they're saying. Is it basketball season yet? Is it I've moved on? Sam Pittman, he ain't it. Sam Pittman, someone on Twitter today said he's the Michael Anderson equivalent type hire for football. What do you say to fans? I know that's not an easy question, but it's been asked to me. I've seen it out and about. After this one, it's really hard to defend this staff.
Well, but I mean, I just go back to the 3 years before he got here where they won one SEC game.
Right. Yeah.
I heard this same crap about Houston Nutt, We can do better. We can do better. You need to fire him. 8 bowl games in 10 years. They had never done anything in the SEC except for one lucky year. They went to the championship game with Tanny Ford and there was a lot of lean years after they ran off Houston. And I'm just telling you, man. And I mean, I don't. Sam Pittman's a good coach. I mean, they just I'm not going. I don't go that route. I mean, Sam Pittman's a good coach. I mean, I just know that this is not. Listen, I'm going to tell you, this is not the job a lot of these fans think it is. If they knew how many people turned this job down when they hired, why do you think they hired Sam Pittman? Why do you think they hired Sam Pittman? Was it because that was the top of the list? No, because nobody else wanted the job. I'm just telling you, they offered this job, and a lot of them, they would have offered more. A lot of them wouldn't even talk to them about it. I'm telling you, people, I know a lot of people, and these coaches wouldn't even talk to them about this Arkansas job. One coach in the SEC said, I don't want to go to Arkansas and be fired in 2 years. I mean, I'm telling you, man, this job is not what a lot of these fans seem to think. They can talk about he peaked all they want to. I'm telling you, it's not the job. It's not a bad job, but it's not the dream. It's not the job that a lot of people on here think it is, and not just on here, but on Twitter and everywhere. I shouldn't say on here. I'm just talking about just in general fans. I hear that, not just on here, but I hear it. I get a ton of messages, and I'm telling you, man. I mean, he to have a 9-4 season, you've got to be really forcing and be, saved and avoid a lot of key injuries. And, is he the next Nick Saban? No, but is he, I'm not going to put this on Sam Pittman. I mean, I'll say maybe it's on him to have him prepared to play. And I don't think he did today for whatever reason. And so, that is fair, but to sit here and act like he can't coach, and we get this after every loss. I mean, I love these fans do this crap. I say crap after every loss, and I almost said something else, but I mean, it just gets old hearing that after every loss. They want to fire the coach. They want to do this, and you just can't.
But I
don't go that route, people.
In reality, though, and I do agree with you. They should have won this game. They're better than Liberty.
I mean, that's what I said. I don't know what happened 3 quarters, Ty. I mean, if they'd played 4 quarters like they played the 4th one, you'd have probably been right. They would have covered the 14.5 points. I mean, I mean, there was no excuse to get down 21-0 to Liberty. I'm not saying that.
Not at all.
I'm not making excuses for them. I mean, I've said I don't know why they didn't wake up till the 4th quarter. I mean, I've said that. I don't know what was going on. I wish I could tell you. I wish I was smart enough to come on here and tell you that.
Well, if you were, you would be the coach, though, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just, But the biggest mystery to me, I'll just make it simple. The biggest mystery to me was how the offensive line got dominated for nearly 3 quarters time. I couldn't believe that. That's the part that shocks me more than the fact that Arkansas lost the game. I would have bet you money that I've never seen that. Like I said, they played Alabama. They played a lot of teams, and they've never been dominated like that. And they played better teams than Liberty. And and nobody dominated that. That shocked me more than losing the game did, man.
They average. I mean, this is a top 10 rushing offense in the country. Pro Football Focus has this offensive line graded out as the number 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really think I think they just weren't prepared. And I think the offensive line didn't get off the bus. I don't think they came out of the locker room. Yeah. I gotta save that kind of talk for Tuss Talk. They got their butts kicked. They got their butts kicked up front of the line of scrimmage. And I don't know. And people are saying, "Are we better? Are we better?" Yeah, Arkansas is better than Liberty. They are better.
Yeah, I mean,
they clearly, but they're coming off a bye week, and this is a great coach. Hugh Freeze is a level of coach that you give him the extra time, he's going to use it to his advantage every way possible. His guys were prepared. Ours weren't. I really kind of wonder if they, I said on Friday, this could be a trap game. This is something to keep in mind. Anything can happen simply because of how bad Arkansas secondary is, and some, other factors as well. Well, this could be a trap game. And I think that's what it ended up being. But at the same time, that's no excuse.
If you'd have told me they were going to hold Liberty to 21 points, considering the secondary, if you'd have told me Arkansas was holding Liberty to 21 points, Ty, I would have bet the house on Arkansas winning this game. That's the point. They held them to 21 points. Yeah, the secondary gave up some yards and stuff, but if you'd have told me 21 points should not have beaten this Arkansas team, I'm just telling you that. I mean, it did, but it shouldn't have.
I don't know that you want to answer this or not. You can say I don't want to answer it.
I'll answer any questions I'm asked.
Is Arkansas going bowling?
Well, they dug themselves a hole today. I'm going to tell you, because there's, LSU comes in here next week. They're playing Alabama right now as we talk. Then you got Ole Miss. Jaden Daniels and Dart are both capable of picking this secondary apart, and they've got running games too. They've got running game, and Jaden Daniels' kid is a great runner at quarterback for LSU. It may come down to going to Missouri, and I'm telling you, man. I mean, heck, I could see Arkansas, Missouri playing to get bowl eligible that last Black Friday up there. I mean, are they going bowling? Ty, I think it may come down. I think so. I think Arkansas will win a game somewhere. I was going to pick them to beat LSU, but now I can't. I can't now. I mean,
that almost seems like a pipe dream right now. Yeah. I mean, it just does. Because you wonder how much this demoralizes this team, and can Pittman get them out of that? Well,
that's where the coaching staff has got to get them. They can't let one loss turn into 2, 3, or 4 like it did earlier in the year. I felt like, and I don't know that the A&M loss turned into 3, because they were probably going to, if they'd won that game, they were probably going to lose to Alabama the next week. So I don't know. I can't say that. I shouldn't say that turned into 3 losses. And then you didn't have KJ at Starkville, and Malik did his best, but the defense was awful that day. I mean, absolute awful down there at Starkville. Bulldogs did what they wanted on offense all game long. So I don't think one loss, but this right now, talking about this, these games are at home, and I know Alabama's home, but now these games are the next 2 are at home, Ty, and you need to win one of these before you head to Columbia, Missouri, because you don't want to go up there, whether they're trying to get bowl eligible, they're already bowl eligible, or they're out of the talk to be bowl eligible, whatever Missouri's status is. You can't go up there needing to win that game just to get to bowl eligible. So we'll see what happens, Ty. I'll answer your question, but I just have to say I don't know, because if you'd asked me before the game, I'd said, oh yeah, they're going bowling. I don't think there's any. It's not are they going bowling? It's what will be the record? Which bowl are they going to? Let's remember one thing. This is the 3rd year that Sam's been here, and first year without the question, because there was but this is the first time he's lost to a non-conference team. I'll tell you one thing that I do think Arkansas needs to look at in the future. I think they need to stay away from this playing 3 non-conference teams that are ranked. And I know BYU wasn't ranked when they played them, but Ty, they've had no – last year UAPB was basically a bye week. And last year UAPB was basically a bye week. And so – and it was a chance to get some backups, some very good experience. I just don't they played 2 teams that were ranked when they played them, Cincinnati and Liberty, both 23. And they played BYU, who was ranked much of the season, lost to Notre Dame. The only reason BYU wasn't ranked, they lost to Notre Dame the week before they played Arkansas. So I just think they need to – I think there needs to be an easier team or 2 on the schedule. And I know somebody will probably say Missouri State. Look, Bobby Petrino is not an easy game. I mean, it's just not. So, God, Ty, I don't know, man. I just think they need to look at this. They need to make sure this kind of schedule doesn't happen again. And I know people say, well, Alabama schedules cupcakes, believe me. And besides that, Arkansas's program is nowhere near the level of an Alabama. If they were, then we'd be talking about a different subject than worrying about the non-conference schedule.
If we lose out, then what? So for you, again, for those of you who are saying, well, they're going to fire Pittman. No, they're not. They're not going to fire Pittman. That's not going to happen. But I do see Hunter Yurachek probably having a sit down with Pittman and saying, okay, got to make some changes. You're going to have to cut some people loose. Whoever that is, I don't know. I know everyone's going to point to Barry Odom, but I don't know if the defense was purely the problem today.
They held them 21 points. I mean, the secondary's got some issues. And I mean, and as you said, it's not fair to just say it's all on Catalon and Ladarius Bishop, but it's not. There's more to it than that. But they're not going to fire Sam Pittman. I mean,
no,
even if they lose out, they're 5-7. I mean, they're not firing Pittman. So anybody that's hoping that might as well move on to something else.
The turnaround that he did here was nothing short of extraordinary. I mean, you could say whatever you want. You could say, hey, this loss is on him. That loss to A&M was on him. The so-so season is on him. Okay, fine. But the turnaround, the product on the field was so much better, and you could see it year 1 compared to Chad. And then year 2, it was exceptional. I thought they were great last year. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with a really good Ole Miss team and probably should have won that game, a team that went on to win 10 games. That's not going to happen. Now, what does that mean for him next year? Does that set him up? Does that put pressure on him year 4? Maybe, depending on the kind of year that he has. But, even if they lost out or if they lose out, they're not firing Sam Pittman. That's not happening.
They're not going to be a head coaching change. I mean, will there probably be some coaching changes possibly, but I don't know. I think right now the thing they've got to look at is they've just got to – Arkansas's coaches have got to figure out what happened this week, why this team was not prepared to play to start the game, even the third quarter. I thought when they came out after halftime maybe they would get some life, and pretty much the third quarter was more of the same. It wasn't quite as bad, but it was a little bit more of the same. You think about how many times Arkansas had to go for it on 4th down in their own territory or close to midfield, Ty. I mean, they were almost stuffed on some of those. If they hadn't gotten those first downs, it could have been really bad. So, I mean, but I know we're talking about defense too, but I just don't holding them 21 points should not have cost Arkansas the game.
No, because we said this a few weeks ago. They're going to have to score. Arkansas is going to have to score 38, 40 points a week to win out.
That's what I said. That's how they beat. That's how they're going to win games. I said, KJ, that was my first key to victories. KJ's got to play well, avoid turnover. And I said, they're going to have to outscore opponents. They're going to give up. They gave up 21 today. And as I told you a while ago, if you'd have told me they were going to hold Liberty to 21, I'd almost guaranteed you a win.
Yeah.
But LSU's going to score more than 21. Ole Miss is going to score more than 21. Missouri, I don't know how many Missouri will score, but when we're talking about 3 weeks down the road, so I don't. But I know LSU's going to come in here and score more than 21. So they're going to have to play well, and the offensive line's going to have to show up next week at the first play, not the fourth quarter. The first play of the fourth quarter, they got to show up the first play. I was disappointed in the offensive line today, and I'm not sitting there putting that at Cody Kennedy's feet. I don't know. I'm just saying that I was shocked at whatever happened there. You know, it was disappointing.
Bryles is god awful, says Razorback 26. That is the worst take I have seen in this chat. That's a horrible take.
Fans overreact when they lose, and it's not just Arkansas fans.
That's bad. They do. That's a bad take because Kendall has been pretty solid this year.
Well, when the players are not executing, you can call whatever play you want, but when the offensive line's not blocking anybody, no matter what play you call, it's not going to be pretty, Ty. And I mean, and I'm not defending Bryles. He has some strange calls, but he's a very good offensive coordinator. Now, he's a guy that'll leave you scratching your head. We talked about that at A&M when he put in Malik Hornsby there after Dominic Johnson was driving it down their throats. And he had those three plays to Malik and just killed that drive. It's just like, why? And then he did the same thing at the bowl game last year. They were moving the ball, and he had a backward lateral out to Warren Thompson, who threw an interception. I mean, it's like, why do you do that? But he's a very good offensive coordinator. Now, he leaves me scratching my head at times, like, why did you call that? But with that said, no, that guy's not god awful. I mean, he's a good offensive coordinator.
That's a horrible take. We're going to use Razorback fan 2794 as a template. This is not the kind of take. This is a bad take. This offense has been doing really well today. They just, I think it's a little bit of everything.
They've got to with this defense. They've got to, and they should have scored more than 21 points today. I can't put this on the defense today.
No.
Sure, they were leaving receivers wide open. I've said I don't know how you drop 8 and don't have somebody close to the receiver when there's 5 of them and there's 8 of you. Somebody's not doing their job. But with that said, I mean, you got to score more than 21 points against Liberty. I mean,
don't know
19 points. I'm sorry.
Don't know. Like you said, what happened there at the end is strange. How all of a sudden, they've got life, and like people were saying on Twitter, and they're right. Too little, too late. KB, too little, too late. Players on the field, too little, too late. So,
but when the offensive line, I'm going back to this, and it's going to sound like I'm really defending Bryles, but I'm just saying when your offensive line is just not showing up to play and blocking anybody and getting whipped by Liberty, it doesn't matter what play you call. You call any play you want, it ain't going to work. I mean, I just wish I knew why the offensive line got dominated. As you said, I wrote a story this week. Pro Football Focus had them the number 1 graded offensive line in Power 5 football, Ty. You think the number 1 graded offensive line in Power 5 should get dominated by Liberty for 3 quarters?
Mm-hmm.
See, that makes no sense. And that's what leaves me just completely mystified about this whole deal. That was the one thing I didn't see coming. I'd have never put in the keys to win this offensive line whip Liberty. There wasn't even anything in my. I could have done 100 keys to the game, and that would not have been one of them because I took it for granted.
Yeah. Whose fault is it when the team shows zero excitement, Ty? Yeah. Again, some of you aren't really paying attention to what we're saying. It's on everybody. It's not on just Kendall. It's not on just Sam. It's not on Barry Odom or the secondary or the offensive line. It's everybody.
Yeah,
Steve
on the coaches,
Dobbins.
the players.
It's on everybody.
You can blame the coaches all you want and say they need to have the players prepared to play. And I think you and I have both said that. But then again, as a player, why do you have to have somebody get you prepared to play? You play 12 Saturdays, 12 weeks anyway. I know Missouri's on Friday, but you play 12 games. I don't have to have Lenny Beavers or Ty Hudson or Dudley Dawson call me every day and get me prepared to work. Hell, I don't have to have somebody call me or get me prepared.
Get after it, Otis. Get after it.
Yeah, I don't have Lenny Beavers never once has had to call me or any other boss and tell me I had to get ready to go to work and get. I don't need somebody to get me ready to do my job, and you shouldn't have to as a player. I mean, a player. Some of that's on the players, some of it's on the coaches. I mean, it's just as you said, the simple answer to that is I put it on everybody.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Tuss Talk with Ty is up next, so I will be live over there next. Again, go to hogville.net for all the latest and greatest from the greatest who cover basketball, baseball, and football. Otis, Kirk, Dudley Dawson, Kevin McPherson. They've got you covered. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you want to call in, you've got a little bit maybe you disagreed with something we said. Here, call in, Tell me what it is you disagree with. Maybe you just want to vent a little bit. That's what this next show is all about on Tuss Talk with Ty YouTube. I'll see you guys over there. Otis, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Man. Appreciate you, guy. Have a good one.
You
Talk
too.
See you later.
All right, one and only Otis Kirk. Yeah, if you guys, hey, Ty, you're wrong, and I just disagree, let me know. Call me. I'm going to send the link in our Discord, and I'll put it out on Twitter. Give me just a couple minutes to get it all set up, and we'll be live over there. Disappointing loss. I'm going to talk about it even more, and I'm going to let you guys have the microphone. Coming up next on Tuss Talk with Ty. I'll see you guys over there.